And I look at the 117th district, which is, of course, it's always been my home. I'm born and raised there. And there's so much that could be fostered in that district. From the ruralness to many parts of the district, the possible economic development that needs to take place and can take place, and we're in really dire need that it does take place. I think I can be a strong part of that and move this district forward and make it more attractive make it more attractive for people my age and younger who are continuing to leave the district and leave, more importantly, even the entire county of Luzerne. I'm still running as Russ Bigus, the candidate, not as a labeled Democrat or Republican. I'm not saying that so, he can pick up more votes as a Republican. Now, those are some of the talk that is out there now. Well, he's going to get the Democratic vote, and he's going to pick up some of the old Republican votes because he was a Republican. Well, whatever strategy it takes to win, that's fine. That's not the reasoning for my doing it. There's none of us who wouldn't want a complete elimination of property taxes. But we also have to be cautious in doing it the right way once and for all. This isn't something we could just put a Band-Aid on 30, 40 days before the election. And I do think that it needs to be studied in depth and looking at people who are actuaries and looking at the consequences and looking at a plan that's going to replace that income. Forced and binding arbitration with logical, sensible, professional people, all of which I named, school board members and teachers, sit them in a room as we sit at this table and pound it out. If that doesn't work, then they sit there for 8 hours. Then you bring in the judge, and I'm just throwing these ideas out as possibilities, but there has to be a better plan than striking. Okay. I think those two ideas are a knee-jerk reaction to a very long and major problem. To sell or lease the turnpike to, of all places, someone from out of the country, we've outsourced enough jobs out of this country. We've outsourced enough jobs out of our area. On the national level, I think that's more of an issue than on the state rep level. However, I would love as a state rep to be able to address keeping things local. That goes into the labor force and the workforce that I talked about earlier. So it's almost as if there's double talk that, oh yes, we want to keep things local and we're trying our best, but yet we're going to sell the turnpike, or rather lease the turnpike to a company from Spain. That makes no sense to me. And what will that do to the workforce that is currently employed on the turnpike? Well, we've brought in, as far as the Benton Coalition goes, we've brought in Penn State and some of the other areas throughout western Pennsylvania that have had natural gas wells for a long time. Do we have all the answers? We don't. My personal concern is anytime you go a mile down into the earth, something's going to be disturbed that may not be favorable. However, up to this point in time, between our other forms of energy that are unfavorable for the most part, it's a necessity. And if we have the amount of terrific gas that they're talking, and this is the Marcellus Shale region, I think it's our obligation to tap into it, but not with penalization on the property owner.